We would now like to introduce our first speaker from Monroe County's Parents and Friends of Lesbian and Gays.
Good morning. My name is Anita and I work with a support group called PFLAG, which is Parents, Friends, and Families of Lesbians and Gays. But today I'm here to speak to you all as human beings who need to take care of one another. Stop the bullying. We can all do this together. I'm not going to stand here and say that we should all love one another and hold hands and sing Kumbaya. I know that's not realistic. But what I am going to say is that we all need to learn how to respect and care for each other. If you don't like someone, that's fine. What's not fine is to say mean and nasty and hateful things to each other, or to judge a book by its cover without opening the pages to see what's inside. The boy you punched in the hall yesterday, he committed suicide when he went home last night. The girl you called a slut in class today, she's a virgin. The boy you called lame, he has to work every single night to support his family. The girl you pushed down the other day is already being abused at home. You think you know these people because you see them in the halls or in class for a few hours every day, but you don't. I was bullied and picked on when I was in school. The pain of it is still with me all these years later. I was picked on about a lot of things: my clothes, my name. I have a very unusual first name, and the other kids like to make fun of that. I wasn't good at sports, so gym was a nightmare. I was always picked last whenever they had to pick teams. I was taunted, pushed, spit on. What was so wrong with me that I deserved that treatment? It didn't help that I used to be quite shy. I had very few friends, and the pain of those years is still with me. I just can't forgive the kids who were so mean to me and tormented me. Since then, I've been reluctant to open up to anyone and to try to make new friends. And now sometimes my life can be very lonely. If you or someone you know is being bullied, talk to someone. I didn't. My silence nearly cost me everything. Years later, I found out that help was there all along. I just didn't know it. All I had to do was open my mouth. I know it's not easy, but it's easier than that. I didn't tell my parents because I figured that I had to go to school and it would just make things worse. I didn't realize that if they'd known, my parents would have brought it to the attention of people who could have helped me. They could have homeschooled me, I could have gone to a private school, or I could have gone to school in another district. I had options, but I couldn't see them. Whatever those options were, I would have been safe and protected, and I might have been a different person today. I want to speak to you about the worst possible repercussions from bullying. It's no longer kids will be kids. It's no longer only happening in school. And it's no longer something that no one is going to do anything about. Children are dying. Our young people are dying with so much frequency that they've come up with a new name for it. It's either called assisted suicide or bullycide, and it's epidemic. I'm not going to sugarcoat this for you. The repercussions of bullying sometimes can be fatal. There are other instances where the victim has been mentally traumatized by incessant bullying and is in therapy trying to overcome the fears from being bullied. Loss of self-esteem is another major aspect of being bullied. But probably the worst of all is the victim of incessant bullying who decides to take their own life. Imagine if you were the last one who did something mean or nasty to that person. Would you be able to live with yourself knowing that you contributed to the death of a classmate? This is something I want you to think about as I tell you the following true stories. Because those who are bullied are not the only victims. So are the families, friends, and loved ones of the victims. And the bullies themselves who also have to live out the rest of their lives knowing that they might have contributed to the death of a classmate, teammate, or even a family member. Those jokes we tell are only jokes if everyone laughs, and not if the laughter is at another person's expense. Remember, when teasing becomes hurtful, unkind, and constant, it crosses the line into bullying, and that's when it needs to stop. This is Cameron Jacobson. This 14-year-old boy was happy starring in his brother's home videos, playing baseball, and he was always on the computer. But what Cameron endured at the hands of bullies was horrific. They broke his jaw, constantly taunted him on and offline, and especially on Facebook. 8 months after his jaw was broken, he was in his room. And that's where I found him, said his mother, Wanda. It was all a matter of minutes. It went by so quickly, Wanda Jacobson said. He took his life in his own room. Kevin Jacobson was Cameron's father. In the wake of Cameron's death by suicide, Kevin Jacobson, who's building a reputation as an advocate, working at the local, state, and even federal levels on